Welcome, everyone. This is yet another episode of Disruption Talks. And this episode is going to be special because it's going to be a almost real-time reaction to what we've seen over the past week or so when it comes to how secure the infrastructures are of various companies, ranging from the government up onto the companies you've grown to love and use like Reddit, Amazon, or eBay. So over the recent days, weeks, we've seen that the infrastructure is susceptible to errors, to failures. And either if this is a cybersecurity attack with a ransomware attempt, or if it's just the cloud infrastructure being prone to falling down over a simple mistake for hours and basically handicapping the internet, we realized that a lot of things could be done better. So instead of trying to identify this myself, today joining us is Radosław Kubryń, our cloud engineering manager. Hi, Radek. So Radek is engineering manager, AWS expert, all-around rock star. And last week he wrote a post on LinkedIn that gathered a lot of views. Even LinkedIn placed it in their editorial space, where Radek basically said what happened and why. So first of all, Radek, hi, great to have you.
Hello, hi Philip, hi everyone. Okay,
yeah, that's what I would like to begin with. What is Fastly and what happened? Why all of a sudden couldn't we access all of those web pages?
Okay, so let's maybe start. What is the Fastly? So in a few words, the Fastly, it's the content delivery network. So it's the CDN operated by Fastly. It's one of the largest of the internet, along with the similar operated by Akamai, Cloudflare, Amazon, and CloudFront. So the Fastly all operated of the same principle that the internet is the faster, so and more stable if user can connect to the server physically close to them, optimized for handling lots of the traffic. So this is the Fastly. And the second point of your question is what's happened exactly in the internet. And so that was the bug in the Fastly code. This is according to the Nick Rockwell, who is VP of the engineering and infrastructure of Fastly. So probably the one of the developer making mistakes in the code and deploy into the production. So when the unnamed customer updated their setting, it triggered the flow, which ultimately looked down around 85% of the company's network. So yeah, that was a huge outage of the most of the internet providers, like the Amazon, like the Cloudflare and something like that.
Okay, I mean, I got to tell you, this is kind of scary because it's not that it was like a malicious, intentional attempt or attack. It's basically developer made a mistake. You update your settings sometimes. I update my settings sometimes, and I never think, if I flip this switch in the settings, am I going to take down the internet? So scary stuff. So, okay, so now we understand what Fastly is. We understand what happened and why. So, of course, test your code, everybody. This is a great lesson. But that's the technical side of things. Can we put this into the language of value, or rather value and risk? So what was the business impact? Because every time a website is down, I think that can be quantified. Do you have an idea of how big that problem was?
Yeah, I think we can compare it with some kind of the the bank. So let's think about the bank and the infrastructure. So if the infrastructure going down and will be stopped for the few hours, then we potentially lost a huge of the money. In this case, with our research estimating, probably the Amazon could have potentially lost around 7,000 every second it was down. The outage was around the 2 hours. So,
I'm doing the math.
Yeah, it's enough. So, yeah, we need to think about the cloud insurance policy, and we need to talk about it because every potentially outage for the business giving us a huge potentially lost. So this is like the car accident. You can buy the car insurance policy, and you can drive your car, and if you something happened, the car accident, you cannot pay from your wallet. But if the will be the car accident and you don't have any car insurance policy, you need to pay from your wallet, and you lost a lot of money if your car will be crashed.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's
the same is with the infrastructure. Yeah, you need to get some insurance policy.
okay. That's a very fair point. But I'm still thinking, especially being a salesperson, so numbers is the name of my game. I'm thinking about this when you tell me $7,000 a second, right? It was
Yeah.
now. So 60 seconds in a minute times 60 minutes in an hour times 2 hours. We're looking at a cool 50,400,000 of a loss, which for Amazon probably is not that hurtful. But what I'm thinking about is sort of the second order effects, because it wasn't just Amazon, but it was many platforms. Either it was Amazon or eBay. I think it was also free trade. Correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially on a platform where real-time reactions matter and you don't have access to that platform, either you're a salesperson, you're losing out on sales, or either you're a stock exchange trader and you put some positions, and within those 2 hours some serious stuff is happening on the market, perhaps even because of the Fastly situation, and you just cannot access what you're having. So for such a company, of course, at the end of the day, if I'm a free trade user, I'm not angry at Fastly, I'm angry at the companies I'm dealing with. So that also needs to be always thought about, that you don't just get kicked in the butt because of the immediate costs. It's also like the PR, the optics, rebuilding the trust. That's why you, just like in a car accident, you have to do so many things with your health to rebuild it once it happens. Okay, so what are the major basics? Let's say I'm one of those companies, and what could I have done to make sure that such a thing happens with Fastly, but I remain unaffected or not as downtime-ish as everybody has been?
Okay, so if we are talking about the major basics, so we are talking about the cloud infrastructure. So let's start from the beginning about how the cloud infrastructure is built, because this is very important to understand. And I think the best comparison is to the Lego bricks. You probably, when you was young, you built some buildings using the Lego bricks. Yeah, exactly. So the building in the cloud infrastructure is like the adding additional bricks to strengthen your build, and just only your imagination can be your blocker, because you decided what kind of the bricks you add to your infrastructure, to your building. Yeah, and I think the first pillar of the good practice in your infrastructure, it's definitely failover, and the failure for the downtime resistance infrastructure is the high availability. It means that your infrastructure can be quickly switched to the another one for a backup infrastructure if something happened with your first primary infrastructure for some reason, like will be some outage, some crash of the hardware or with the software. So you can fastly move to the second one. And The same is with the Lego bricks. If you're building the castle, you probably built the two towers. If the one was defended, so you still got the second one.
Okay. But also, I need to make sure that I don't build bricks that are too heavy over here, because if I remember correctly from when I was a kid, not like yesterday, of course, I don't play with Lego, that's if I build too high here, but the pillars, the foundations isn't strong enough, then...
Yeah, exactly what you said. So you need to build the basement. So our basement in the cloud is infrastructure. The rest on the next levels, it's our application, our software, and the other stuff. So if you create the good basement for your cloud build, like the infrastructure, you can adding additional bricks and will be good.
Okay, so what I remember from your post, you used the word bulletproof, right? So of course you already think of a bulletproof vest or a bulletproof window, but of course they are bulletproof to a certain point, or someone could fire the bullet in a way that goes around or attacks the weak point of the structure. So as much as we probably cannot protect ourselves 100%, what can I do to, like, there's no guarantee that I'll survive this shootout with this bulletproof, but whatever it is, cybersec, ransomware, cloud, the infrastructure, what can be done? What do you recommend outside of the basics that you mentioned? Step 1, step 2, what are the best practices?
Okay, sure. Yeah, of course, you cannot be protect yourself by the 100%, but you could be a 99%. So it will be only the 1% chance to destroy your infrastructure. In the IT, I think we need to more plumbing, less firefighting. So we need looking for the some gaps in our infrastructure, in our code, to fix them, and this is more important than firefighting. So in my bullet point, which I mentioned into the article, was to create the high availability infrastructure. This is the first one, and more important because we've got the same infrastructure in the some other region or the zone. The second one is to testing. We still need testing our infrastructure and looking for the gaps, fixing them. We cannot be sure that we create the infrastructure and always will be all good, because the infrastructure is changing. The world is changing. The software is changing. So we still need to be focused on our infrastructure and testing them by the internal tests and external tests, like the penta tests, to be sure that any DDoS attack or the ransomware cyber attack cannot be give us the outage of the infrastructure. So this is the second one, and the third one is also important, like the backups. If we do not have backups, I think we cannot sleep well. So we can divide the people which creating the backups and should be creating backups. Yeah. And if we've got the backups, we can be sure if something will be happen with our infrastructure, if our code or the software, we cannot easily restore them. But still, if we're creating the backups, we need to testing also the backups if it's possible to restore, because the creating backups, it's not equal the restore.
I mean, it's a slightly crazy race, because like any attacker or any vulnerability has to work only one time, whilst you have to prepare yourself against every potential problem. So it's a tough job. I really like the quote that you used. More plumbing, less firefighting. That's a really cool one. And another quote that I heard, I was doing an interview with a head of trading engine of a stock exchange, of a crypto stock exchange, and he told me this, that with crypto stock exchanges, they are such an attractive target for hackers, for people who want to display vulnerabilities, is that the moment you open up a crypto stock exchange is the moment you unwillingly enter a bug bounty program that you're running, essentially. So I think that's completely true. And I see that Kasia has posted your original post. So for anyone who wants to have like the full backstory or read it, check it out in the comments. It's there. So we have a question, and the question is from Tomek, and it goes like this: for any business that's highly reliant on cloud, I'd be curious to get some key lessons on should I take any short-term steps to prevent my exposure to such outages, and what should be my long-term approach. I feel like we've sort of spoken about this, but I think that the division here between like the short-term steps, let's say, what can Tomek do today, and what can Tomek do in a month or 3?
Okay, so Tomek, at the moment you probably need to check your infrastructure and your application by there's some potential gaps, potential attacks. So first of all, I will start from the analyst of your infrastructure and your application to be sure if all is good. So and you probably need to do some audit of the security and the performance to be sure if all is good. And for the next few months, you probably need to repeat it and check again what was implemented after the audit.
Okay, so to sum up, read the article and apply the best practices. Reach out to Radek, because you're reading his article, you're listening to him, but the best way to discover the expertise that's relevant to you and your situation, whoever's watching, this is the person. But I see you have another question. It's from Michał, and Michał says, I know that Netguru provides clients with cloud audit. What are the benefits of such a service, and why do you think companies should invest in something like that?
Why the companies should invest of the cloud audit? Okay, so we as a Netguru could do that kind of the cloud audit. And what is in that kind of the cloud audit? So we as a DevOps cloud engineers checking your infrastructure and checking your software into the cloud and giving you the full report about your infrastructure, about the potential gaps, performance tests, and in that report you can find all of this information and summary about your infrastructure and software, what you should do and implement to be sure that your infrastructure is okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like an insurance policy and a checkup before the insurance policy. So, you can drive a car, feel safe, wear no seatbelts, but by the time you have that accident, you're going to wish that the seatbelts were fastened, that you had that insurance policy, and that your airbag was working. So make sure that it is, get yourself an audit, and make sure that you're not affected by any other outage in the future as much as possible. So exactly. I don't see any more questions. I think we've taken the discussion in terms of what we want to understand from your post and from the whole situation. So Radku, thank you so much for today. It's been a blast. Very, very good to have this opportunity to understand the world around us from such experts like you. And in the meantime, dear audience, we're looking forward to having you on our weekly Tuesday Disruption Talks next week. Hopefully we can see you there. Thanks a lot, everyone, and thanks, Radek.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.